Hi, and welcome to the Q&A video. Last year I reached over 200 subs, which was very exciting for me. I'm very happy that I managed to beat my goal for 2022. Anyway, and over the last couple of months I gained out 30 more, so thank you for everyone who likes my videos. It really means a lot, and in order to celebrate, as well as being my birthday this weekend, I decided to do a Q&A video, just like getting that creator-viewer interactions. So, we've got a bunch of questions here today, let's get started. I do apologize, this is also unscripted, so you'll be hearing a lot of ums and very long pauses as well, and a lot of mumbling, not a lot of mumbling, but you know. So I hope you look forward to it. The first question comes from the Active Line. How do I work this? Where is that yard's automobile? How did I get here? And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful house. And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. Yet in the days go by, yet the water hold me down. Yet in the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money is gone. I do apologize for my terrible singing. That's kind of a jokey question. I'm assuming you were on about the song from the Talking Heads, the Active Line. If not, then I do apologize. Your actual question is, any games you want to talk about but haven't found the opportunity? So one idea I had was, ever since last year, talked about Sega games, especially ever since I had the Ultra Beast April Fool's video, I want to talk about various rhythm games, like from Sega's library, like Samba de Mido, Rhythm Thief, Rez, and Space Hunter 5. But the issue is, the original Samba de Mido on the Dreamcast, along with the Miraculous peripherals, is very expensive and hard to come by. That's there'll be a press back to this, and maybe in the future. But and there's also Rhythm Thief as well, which is a 3DS exclusive, and I don't have anything to record a 3DS on. And I know with emulation it's a touch-heavy game as well, and I don't know how that would work on emulation. So that's that one idea I had. I also want to talk about the Quintet and its RPG on the Super Nintendo, which only came out in Europe and Japan, and that was Terra Nidima. I have a copy on my Super Nintendo, whether it's legit or not, but yeah, I have that, and I really enjoy that game. However, I've got so many videos planned this year, so I don't have time to talk about Terra Nidima at the moment. Maybe next year, but yeah, those are two video ideas I have. Now they'll be in the back burner. Devil May Cry is another one, but I know some call me Johnny's doing that one, and I don't think it'll be the best time to release that when he's doing it as well. Sweeter than ever shadowed. So thank you for the question, the Active Line. The next one is from Era Dragon, who, as you know, if you've seen my Mega Man X7 video, we collabed on that together. That was a fun time. Your first question is, what is your favourite video game? So, I'm planning to do a 25 favourite games list at the end of the year, so I don't want to mention my favourite video game of all time. No, there are a few people that know what my favourite video game is. But, I can mention some of my favourite video games. The Danganronpa V3 is one of my favourite games of all time. I love the story in that game. The first chapter is so mind-blowing, like, oh my god. I enjoyed that Danganronpa 1, that was okay. Danganronpa 2 was great, but Danganronpa V3 was just an experience. The Fire Emblem games, specifically the Chaos games, and the Game Boy Advance games, those were some of my favourites. The Metroid series, like Zero Mission, Super Metroid, Prime. Kid Icarus Uprising, that's a great 3DS game. And recently I've been loving Skies of Arcadia then, on the Sega Dreamcast and GameCube. That is an amazing JRPG on Sega consoles. If you have a way to play that game, just play it. It's a great JRPG adventure about pirates. But yeah, those are some of my favourite games ever. And your next question is there a game that ended up greatly disappointing you? I have two in mind, and these aren't more so like everyone else's perception of the game, more so than my own. So yeah, myself hyping them up. So the first one was Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. I grew up with Banjo-Kazooie on the N64, never played Tooie. So I was pretty excited when Banjo was coming to the Xbox 360. I used to watch that teaser trailer so many times, growing up. And then I played it, and it was vastly different from what I liked about Banjo-Kazooie, with the vehicles and all that. And yeah, I didn't really enjoy it, but I am planning to go back to it eventually. So my perception of the game made change. Another one was pretty recent, and that was Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 2 was one of my favourite games of the last decade on the Wii U. I loved that game so much, and I was excited for Bayonetta 3. However, while the core combat was pretty fun, I felt like the demon mechanic I didn't really care for the demon summoning, to be honest. It was a bit too experimental, throwing out different gameplay ideas. One moment you're doing the hack and slash beat 'em up. Next thing you're playing a rhythm game. I don't know what's going on there. And the story was an absolute mess. Bayonetta is not really a game for the story. It's not something I would play. It's more so for the main character herself, as well as the core combat. And Bayonetta 3, while still a good game, I was heavily let down by it. And your third question is, who are some of your favourite video game characters? One of my childhood favourites was Yoshi. Yoshi is probably my favourite video game character of all time. I don't know why. I used to love dinosaurs when I was a kid. Just like that one character from Mitchell's vs. Machines. But in every Mario spin-off game and Smash Brothers, Yoshi would always be my main. I would always pick Yoshi. I also love the DK crew as well, the Donkey Kong cast. Cat from Gravity Rush is another personal favourite of mine. She's just a very cheerful, bubbly character that I really like. I need to play Gravity Rush too. Jill from Valhalla, Neku and CT from the World Ends Review. Those characters I find very relatable as well on a personal level. I can very relate to them. Yuri Yol from Tales of Vesperia, Dante, and Bayonetta. Those are some of my favourite characters, video game characters of all time. I just love them. So thank you for the question, Zara. The next question comes from Chris Gordy. He does, here's one. What's one retro console that you would like to own? So, I own quite a majority of video game consoles growing up. I've got a Dreamcast, I've got a Sega Saturn, which I think still works, Super Nintendo, Sega Mega Drive. But if there's one I would like to own, that would be the original Xbox. And honestly, the only reason for that is so I can play Jet Set Radio Future. I wanted to play that game forever now, ever since I played the original Jet Set Radio on Dreamcast. Just the OG Xbox, so I can play Jet Set Radio Future, the best version of Outrun 2, the OG Xbox for sure. Your next question is, what's a game you saw your siblings played it yourself, but ended up not liking it, if not outright hating it? I don't really hate a lot of games, that's very rare to come by. It's mostly just dislikes. One game that loads of my siblings played was Simpsons Hit and Run on the GameCube. I'm not a big fan of driving GTA kind of style games, and The Simpsons was kind of like that, but with but for a younger demographic. Some wrestling games as well. My siblings were fans of wrestling as a kid, and I couldn't get into them. Another one that I'm kind of surprised that a lot of people really enjoy, but I just don't. And for me, that's Mario Smash Football, or as some people, or as the Americans call it, Mario Strikers. I'm not big on football. I tried playing it because it was Mario, and it was Mario's pretty great with the sports titles, especially during the GameCube and N64 era. But that's that one game I could not just get into. I'm not a big football fan. So yeah, those are two games I'm not really into that my siblings played. And your third question is, the most overhyped game you ever played? Well, this one's kind of interesting. I don't really like using the term overhyped. And this is kind of similar to Arrows, where I kind of was disappointed by it. I think the Assassin's Creed was one that was very popular when it first came out. I tried the first 3 Assassin's Creed games, from 1 to Brotherhood. Played that 2 to 3 hours. I just could not get into it. Watch Dogs was another one, which was just a lot of driving. One that is quite popular, especially in Japan nowadays. And as someone who loves Capcom games, I've never been big on Monster Hunter. I tried to get into the series from the PSP games to the demo on the Switch. And no matter how many times I tried to get into it, I could not just get into it. So yeah, those are 3 series I tried to get into that I could just never get into. So thank you for the questions, Chris. The next set of questions comes from Mr. Safer Revolution. He asks, congrats on the great year, Tanuki. Oh, thank you, Safer. That actually really means a lot coming from you. Here are my questions. What are some series you really want to get into, but for whatever reason haven't yet? There's a bunch, really. There's a bunch of series I really want to get into. Shin Megami Tensei is one I really want to get into. I loved Persona 5, Persona 4, I enjoyed 3 as well. And yeah, it gets very interesting, Shin Megami Tensei. But for whatever reason, I think money-wise and, just so many games out there, I just haven't had a chance to play that one. Sign-Up Force, Phantasy Star, those I have dabbled a bit with the first game, but I just never played through the series. The Sweet Odin games, which are coming out, so I'm definitely not playing those. Ratchet & Clank and CI Cooper. I played one game in both of those games. The PS4 Ratchet & Clank game, which was pretty good, despite the movie sucking. And CI Cooper, I played that CI4, which was fun, but I never went back to the other series. So yeah, those are some of the games I would really want to get into, but just haven't yet. Your second question is, what is your favourite video game console? This flip-flops quite frequently, and it really depends on my mood. The Nintendo Switch is a great one. You can practically play a lot of games, the old games on that, yes, as well. It's not the entire Xenoblade series, some of the best series of all time. You can play Super Mario Odyssey, Metroid Dread, all that great stuff. The Super Nintendo is one I grew up on, with the Donkey Kong Country trilogy, Yoshi's Island, Super Metroid, Link to the Past, Mario World, Terranigma as well, and the GameCube was another one. Path of Radiance, F-Zero GX, Bihatsu, Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, Super Smash Bros. Mini, Star Fox Adventures, Metro Prime, so many amazing games. I think that on top of my head now, I think the GameCube is probably my favourite. And your third question is, who were your biggest inspirations for getting into YouTube? This one's a great question. So I started doing countdown videos, which I still occasionally do every now and then. My biggest inspirations were like Quarter Guy, Black Maids Benjamin, as he goes by now, Squirrel Cat, Green Scorpion is probably my biggest inspiration for countdown making, especially him and Comet Foil's style of writing on how they present their countdowns before the resets. You kind of learn something from them. And when I did countdowns, I was kind of inspired by that style of writing and that style of resets. I think recently now, my biggest inspirations now are people like the Deep Critique and Nitrorad, who are very passionate with their videos. They talk about their personal experiences, and that's something I really want to come across with my videos. They're just so damn passionate about the games they are talking about, and that's what I really want to get into. Some Call Me Johnny is another one. He seems like a great chill-out guy. Sounds very casual in his videos, and I also, with the character videos, my biggest inspirations for that series was a YouTuber called Digi Valentine, who, I don't think he does it anymore, does those series of videos anymore, but he used to talk about the specific characters, and I love the video game characters, and I kind of wanted to do it in that kind of style and have my own personal thoughts while doing the resets. I would also say my my friends and my mutuals on YouTube. Like you, Renegade Master, Finished Dark, Aero Dragon. I look at your videos as well as Comet Foils, Character Study videos. Yeah, those are like my biggest inspirations. I put the links down to all the people that inspired me in the description below. So thank you for the questions. The next series of questions is from Aqua. And she says, what are certain franchises you want to get into that aren't in your comfort zone? So, recently I've been trying to play more horror-based titles, that's survivor horror. I loved RE7 back when it came a few years back. And recently I've been playing Silent Hill 2 on my PlayStation 2, and I've been really enjoying that one. I want to try out the Fatal Frame series, another horror game. I know the fourth one's coming out, the remake of the fourth one's coming out soon, or is already out now. And not a franchise specific, but I do want to play Grimoire by Vanillaware, which is an RTS game, which I'm not very good at. I tried to get into Age of Empires, and I was just terrible at RTS games. But I've been a big fan of Vanillaware's 13 Sentinels on Muramasa, so I do want to give that remake a sock. Your second question is, favourite video game soundtrack composers? There is a lot to mention. The obvious one, Yoko Shimomura. She does amazing work with Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 15, Street Fighter 2. She did one for Streets of Rage 4 as well, which was great. Speaking of Streets of Rage, Yuzo Koshiro is one of my childhood favourite composers. His work on the Streets of Rage series, along with the other composer, I can't remember his name, did amazing work. Like the imitations for the Mega Drive, he just knew how to work that machine. David Wise, Donkey Kong Country series, just some fantastic soundtrack. Soji Seguro from the Persona guy and Catherine, great composer. Yasunori Matsuda, who did the Xenoblade games, as well as Chrono Trigger. Hideki Nagamura from Sets of Radio and Sonic Rush. And T-Ops is one I really enjoy now. His Sonic Mania soundtrack is fantastic, and the TMNT soundtrack is just amazing as well. And your third question is favorite video game character designers. So I assume you asked this question because you're kind of an artist yourself. So if you want any inspirations, these are like some of my favorite character designers. I loved the Capcom artwork back in the day, and now as well, yeah. So like artists like Bendis and Akiman, they did artwork for Darkstalkers, Street Fighter, Cyberbots, the old school Capcom arcade games. Their work is amazing. Ayami Tojima, she does amazing gothic work with her Castlevania covers, like Symphony of the Night. Mostly like the Metroidvania ones, the Metroidvania era. She's just great with the oil paintbrush and all that. Senori Sojima, who's Persona the Catherine artist, great work. I recommend picking up the Persona art book, Persona 3 art book. And Ryota Uda, who I don't think a lot of people know besides the die-hard Sega fans. He did the character designs for Jet Set Radio and the Panzer Dragoon series. His Jet Set Radio art is graffiti based, very rough edges, the black outlines, black colours, and the Panzer Dragoon art, very Mobius style, which is like the French comic style, so great. If you want any inspirations, I recommend checking out Ryuta Uda, Bendis, Ayami Tojima, Akiman, and Senori Sojima. Amazing artists. Pick up the Darkstalkers art book, pick up just pick up any Capcom art book, and pick up the Persona art books too. They're amazing. So thank you for the questions. Finished Duck. His first question is, favourite video game 3D platformer? I just realised getting into the list of 3D platformer games, I haven't played many. I really need to play more, but if I have to pick my favourite one, it would be Super Mario Galaxy, either 1 or 2. I'm a big fan of the 3D Mario games. Mario Galaxy is probably my favourite one though. Banjo-Kazooie is also up there. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. I still have a lot of fun times playing with those. But I really need to play more 3D platformers like Demon's Turf, Hat in Time, Ratchet and Clank, and Sly Cooper as well. I really need to play more of those games. Your second question is, are there any movies you're dying to see at the moment or looking forward to? I don't think there's any new movies coming out that I'm terribly excited for. Besides the Mario movie, Guardians, Volume 3. I haven't really been watching a lot of Marvel stuff nowadays. I think the last thing I saw was She-Hulk. But I'm looking forward to Guardians 3, especially since it might be the final one. And the fourth chapter of John Wick Chapter 4 is another one. But at the moment, I kind of want to go back and watch some more older movies, specifically Wes Anderson's work on Isle of Gods. That's one I kind of want to see. I also want to see Paprika, which was done by the guy who did Perfect Blue, one of my favourite films of all time. So yeah, those are the movies I want to see in the future. And your third question is, what's your favourite part of video production? Well, it's definitely not the recording audio. That's my least favourite part. There's a lot of pauses and you have to do the audio editing. It'll be a pain. But my favourite part is the research. Some of my favourite videos I've made are ones where I have a lot of research material to go through, and I just like researching some of the games I really enjoyed, like the Jet Set Radio one and the Dark Souls one. I found so many materials on it. It was so fascinating, listening through inside developer interviews and just like how the games came to be. I just love the research behind these games. So I would say the research is probably my favourite part of video production. Of course, I also like the editing as well, and when it comes out as well. So yeah, thank you, Finn. Now let's watch some pretty interesting questions. And the final series of questions comes from Renegade Master. And hey, how are you doing, Ren? And your first question is, if you've ever wanted to tackle the Mega Man series again, which sub-series, classics, legends, Zero, etc., would you do next? I've been thinking of attacking the Battle Network games, especially since the Kietsun is coming out in April. But that's probably going to take a while since it's at 6 games in one. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the next Mega Man project, because of how young it is. Another one I would love to do is talk about the Mega Man The Wily Wars, which was on the Sega Mega Drive, or on the Mega Drive Mini, which is a compilation of the first 3 Mega Man games, classic Mega Man. I think that would be kind of interesting. I do eventually want to cover Zero at some point as well. And if I can find a feasible way of playing Legends and Star Force, I want to do them as well. But my answer would be either Battle Network or the Wily Wars. Your second question is, any names you're looking forward to this year? Of course, the Battle Network Kietsun that I mentioned, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. I've been excited for that game. I know it got delayed. I think it's coming out in summer now, so I'm looking forward to that. Advance Wars as well. I'm dying to play that game. I've been waiting for that game to come out ever since it was announced for E3 2021. Oh my god. On Twitter, I'm just going to be hyping the sound of Advance Wars. I'm so looking forward to Advance Wars coming out. And another game I'm looking forward to is the new Samba de Mido game as well. I enjoyed Samba de Mido on the Wii. So yeah, I kind of like rhythm games. So yeah, Samba de Mido is another one. And your final question is, favorite retro console? This is probably something I already answered, but I have kind of a loads of favorite retro video games, like the Dreamcast, Super Nintendo, GameCube, Mega Drive. I would say the GameCube though is probably my favorite at this moment in time. It flip-flops every now and then, but the GameCube is probably my favorite one because it's got so many fantastic games. Super Smash Bros. Melee, F-Zero GX, Prime, Beautiful Joe, so many great games. Wind Waker, Fireman Path of Radiance, amazing games. So thank you for the questions, Renegade, and thank you for everyone who gave me questions for this video. This was quite fun. I do apologise if I stumbled a lot, and hopefully many games to talk about this year, especially the ones I've been using footage for this Q&A video. So I hope you look forward to the rest of 2023, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.